Oh, can't anybody see? We've got a war to
Hey BC, I'm just going to do a quick thread response to uh, Needle Groove Kieran's 300 subscribers contest, which is a top 10 or 10 desert island records. I'll leave a link down the bottom. A well worthwhile channel to investigate. Lots of cool jazz and cool records to be shown on that channel. Hey Kieran, and hope there is another 300 subscribers more for you. Well deserved, mate. Good job. So yeah, right to it. My top 10. Well, they're not my top 10. Top 10 is impossible. I mean, I often say to people, I've got 50 records in my top 10, and they change all the time. But Desert Islands, the idea, I don't know, I'm trying to get a scope of things. I like all sorts of music. I like, I'm a folky at heart, really. I like singer-songwriter, folk sort of music most, I think. But I'm into some prog and some indie and some heaps of different stuff. Obviously, most of us are into all music. So it was really hard, really challenging task to come up with 10 only records. But I'll do my best. Number 1. John Coltrane's Ole record was my entry point for Coltrane's music. And I'm sure we can all agree John Coltrane is the guru of music in modern music, I would say. He's one that sort of everybody must experience in some form or another. I'm not saying Ole is the best album that he's ever put out. I mean, he's put out so many records. Not only that, people find Love Supreme to be the most superior recordings, and no doubt it's brilliant. It's a brilliant record. But Ole is a sentimental favorite of mine. Anyway, it was like I said, my introduction to John Coltrane. It's a spiritual jazz record, like the best of the best. It's really fantastic. Fantastic players on here. Just one of those, I think, genius moments. Freddie Hubbard, George Lane, McCoy Tyner, Reggie Workman, Art Davis, Elvin Jones. This is classic lineup right here. Anyway, that's one record I would take with me, Desert Island. Record number 2. I'm a big fan of songwriting, songcraft. I'm a lyrics man. Despite the fact that a lot of my records are actually instrumental records, I do appreciate good lyrics. And one guy who sums that up for me, with just astounding poeticism and fantastic lyrics, is Leonard Cohen. I'm not sure if you guys are fans of this kind of music, but this is my retreat music, my introspective music, I guess you could say, that I like to escape into another world with. Leonard Cohen just writes so wonderfully. I find his songs so joyful, despite the fact that everyone says to me he's quite depressing. I find his songs to be quite hopeful and joyful, and this particular record, his debut record, songs like Suzanne, Master Song, Teachers, One of Us Cannot Be Wrong, Sisters of Mercy, these are all absolute classic songs. Again, it may not be the best record he put out. Songs of Love and Hate is considered by many to be wonderful, and it is, but this is my choice if I had to take one. Leonard Cohen's Songs of Leonard Cohen. Classic records, and when we say classic, you know, we're talking about the records that is usually a worldwide unanimous vote that they are important records. They're called this for a reason. It's because they are so concise and complete as a package. I'm very much into prog rock and progressive music, but when it comes to progressive music, I feel like there's only a handful of records that really nail it. Like from start to finish, everything is right. They are the apex of the genre, and one of those records here is this one, of course, which we all know and love, I'm sure. In the Court of the Crimson King is an absolute masterpiece in my mind. Like I said, there's many great progressive rock records that hit the spot, but this one to me just does everything right, and yeah, just typifies the genre. And I would need to take some prog rock with me if I was to be on a desert island. This one would come. For sentimental reasons, I suppose you could say, growing up in the '90s and having you know, being sort of influenced by the bands of the time. This one I always come back to and will always come back to till the day I die. I don't think I could go anywhere and leave it behind. This is Automatic for the People, REM's masterpiece, I reckon. You know, they put out so many records up until this moment, and I feel like all of them were leading to this great piece, you know. And I could play this anywhere and really enjoy it. It's one of the greatest indie rock records of all time, and in my mind, you know, the the best of the era. The Pixies are absolute innovators in rock music, and Doolittle is their undisputed peak. Magical stuff happens on this record. I sort of feel like my choices are a little bit boring, but that's I suppose the nature of classic and favorite records, is that they're not going to be, look, you know, obscure records. 9 times out of 10, they're obscure for a reason. It's because they're not they miss the mark in some way that these classic ones just nail it. There's plenty of folk records out there, again, plenty of singer-songwriter records, but to me, this one sort of, again, just nails it in every way. The sounds, the spontaneity of the playing, the lyrics, and the spirit of the whole thing is just magnificent. Van Morrison's voice soars like an instrument on its own, and you really get a glimpse at the soul of the man in this album. Astral Weeks. Yep. I think I've shown this record in about 3 videos of mine so far. I've only been doing this for a couple of months, but there's a reason for that. It's because it's bloody brilliant, and you know, it's so significant. Not, you know, for me, for Melbourne, but for me personally as well. It's an instrumental record that I think is yeah, one of the apexes, the peaks of post rock. That's this record here, 33 Ocean Songs. Just sublime, and would always be, for me, would always be welcome. I've shown this record before too, but I want to show it again. I just think it's such a wonderful singer-songwriter record, and one that's really different to anything that I've heard anyone else do in this sort of you know, singer-songwriter acoustic guitar sort of voice style. The record is by Roy Harper, and it's called Stormcock. And this is an absolute masterpiece from start to finish. Every minute of it is is a carefully crafted song, and it's just one of those records I could play over and over and not get bored of it. There's so much in there, despite the fact that it's really minimal in its approach and its production. The words are so witty and humorous and deep and dark, and just a beautiful, beautiful album with an amazing voice, a really haunting voice, one that sort of demands attention straight away. It's Roy Harper, Stormcock would come with me for sure. I realise that some of my choices already are probably going to be not common choices or popular choices, and this one probably falls into that category as well. But I guess when you're stuck on a desert island, you're not trying to impress anybody else, are you? You're just trying to soothe your soul and soothe your soul with music, I suppose you could say. This record here, by an artist that we all know and love, and has been around in the thick of it for many decades. But Peter Gabriel's Us record, I think it just goes right to my soul. I don't know, I can't explain it. I mean, he's done better work on other albums, but the content on here, it just hits me right in that spot, and I can't explain what it is. I mean, it's just a beautiful, introspective, spiritual, soul-searching record that I think is pretty underrated, actually. I mean, it stacks up with all his other work, I think, musically, and it's just him bearing his soul. It's a lovely and deep record, and this one would come with me for sure. I love it. And finally, just one of the massive records for our generation, and I think will be for forever. Just a timeless piece of electronic, sort of indie, I suppose you could say alternative music. Is this absolute beast of a record? Just what can I say about this, really? I mean, you've got fantastic songwriting, you've got wonderful production, you've got extraordinary soundscapes and creativity. Just a Portishead dummy. I mean, come on, it just says it all. So that's my top 10. Well, no, it's not. Sorry, it's not my top 10. It's my 10 desert island albums. Looking back to 5 minutes ago when I started this video, would I choose different ones? I would choose 10 more. That I'm gonna have to just not go to any desert islands. I'm just gonna have to stay here, safe with all my favorite records, because it would drive me crazy. Anyway, I hope you like my submission, Needle Groove. I hope it's sort of what you were looking for. I probably could have gone a little bit more with the descriptions or with my sentiments about the records, but who's got time for that? Take care, everybody. Take care, and yeah, hope everyone's doing well. Cheers.